I was asking for them to come after me. And it was an easy target.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for 10 athletes who had a dramatic fall from grace.
It doesn't fit. If it doesn't fit, you must acquit.
And Tiger Woods. Tiger Woods was a crossover superstar who was in the middle of making his GOAT case concrete.
He was the ultimate competitor. He did what he had to do to win.
It certainly created Tiger and then everybody else.
Lucrative endorsements, video game deals, and more major trophies than anyone of his era. Tiger was truly the gold standard. But when it emerged that he was a serial cheater and that his infidelity had largely been covered up to preserve his image, it changed the way we looked at him forever.
I owe a lot of people an apology. I hurt a lot of people, not just my wife, my friends, my colleagues, the public, kids who looked up to me. There were a lot of people that thought I was a different person.
Tiger lost everything. His status in the golf world, his credibility as a public figure, and a number of big money deals. Sure, he pulled off one hell of a career comeback to win the Masters in 2019, but that comeback was so great because of how far he had to fall.
Many doubted we'd ever see it. But here it is. The return to glory.
Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson was a hero to many Canadians and athletes worldwide when he pushed the boundaries of what was possible for an athlete in 1988.
Ben Johnson, fastest man alive, fastest ever. For Canadians, a classic where were you moment.
Winning Olympic gold in the 100-meter sprint was quite the achievement, of course. But to do so with a record-setting 9.79 seconds elevated his status to a totally different level. But when it emerged that Johnson had been doping, it all fell apart.
The urine sample of Ben Johnson was found to contain the metabolites of a banned substance, namely stanozolol.
Stanozolol, the name of that infamous drug, haunts still.
He went from national hero to the guy who betrayed the love and trust of millions. And according to Johnson himself, he is still being punished for it to this day. It does make you wonder whether it was all truly worth it.
It wasn't necessary at the time. I didn't have any second opinion. I was a young boy. And that's it. Then, I win the gold medal and I lost it. So that's life.
He remains a legendary figure, but his reputation is truly beyond repair. Roger Clemens. Baseball has been rocked by many PED scandals over the years. Who can forget Mark McGwire's feeble attempts to downplay his own clear steroid usage?
Like I've said earlier, I'm not going to go into the past and talk about my past. I'm here to make a positive influence on this.
Or how about Barry Bonds having his entire legendary career called in question after he got caught red-handed? Well, for our money, few have fallen further than Roger Clemens, and it wasn't just his PED usage either.
That perjury case just reinforced all the negative things that people felt about him. He took no responsibility for anything.
Nah, he spent years lying to the fans about playing the game clean, and then lost even more respect from the masses when he engaged in an extramarital affair with an underage country singer. Roger Clemens is proof that having both your personal reputation and professional reputation is a damn near impossible thing to bounce back from.
We know we've closed the chapter on that. I don't worry about that.
But here,
Mike Tyson. As the youngest champion in the history of the heavyweight division, Iron Mike Tyson could not go anywhere without being mobbed by fans.
Tyson was one of the most dynamic athletes in the world. The youngest heavyweight champion in history, he was a marquee attraction with enormous power.
And though a shocking loss to Buster Douglas exposed some issues of overconfidence, he was still very much in his prime. But when he was sentenced to 6 years in prison for the assault of Desiree Washington, everything changed.
He completely changed. The look on his face completely changed. Everything about him completely changed. He changed from a sweet and nice person that I thought he was earlier to just this animal, like a demon or something.
In minutes?
And in seconds.
Not only did he cause public opinion to do a 180, he also lost out on a large portion of his best fighting years. The Tyson who returned to the ring a few years later was more of a loose cannon and far less successful in terms of fighting. Biting Evander Holyfield's ear off didn't help things either.
Seems to be some kind of altercation going on.
It looks like he could have been disqualified. The fight could be over.
Michael Vick. Michael Vick might have been a very good quarterback once upon a time, but these days he's known for one pretty unflattered reason.
Bad News Kennels was started us wanting to breed pit bulls with the patches and the ones that, look pretty, and it was show dogs, and we was gonna sell them. And it just went from one aspect to another.
Vick was revealed to have a very odd interest in illegal dog fighting. In fact, he personally sponsored and ran a dogfighting operation on his own property. Athletes are certainly no strangers to all manners of irredeemable behavior, but there's just something particularly cruel about messing with dogs.
I grew up under that. So like I grew up seeing that, grew up watching it. So it just never, like I still had the hood in me.
You're right.
I still had the hood in me.
And for Vick, even after he served 21 months behind bars, his reputation never fully recovered. People tend to take it personally if you profit from the pain of man's best friend.
Best thing for me that ever happened to me in my life was me getting shipped off to Kansas, man. Because other than that, I wasn't going to change.
Tonya Harding. Spending much of her early life training as a figure skater, Tonya Harding reached the highest of highs, and then ultimately the lowest lows.
I don't think I need to tell you, but you are in first place right now.
After nailing a triple axel in competition, Tonya was truly on top of the world. But when she allegedly orchestrated a brutal attack on her rival Nancy Kerrigan during a practice session, it was seen as one of the dirtiest tactics in the history of sport.
The attack plunged Kerrigan's Olympic dreams into doubt and focused suspicion on rival skater Tonya Harding.
Footage of Nancy's immediate reaction is hard to watch even to this day, and seeing Harding turn to trashy reality TV in order to save her career gave people a greater insight into just how desperate she was.
Harding says she's done apologizing about Kerrigan's attack.
Enough apologizing. She's got her life, I've got my life. We both have wonderful lives, and that should be all that matters.
Oscar Pistorius. The story of Oscar Pistorius is a pretty tragic one. He was once seen as a role model to any athlete who competed with some form of disability.
His place on South Africa's track team is the culmination of a difficult and at times controversial quest to become the first amputee track athlete to ever compete at an Olympics.
And his performances at the Olympics and Paralympics were the stuff of legend. The Blade Runner was bringing a whole lot of positive energy and attention to his sport. But in 2013, everything changed. Pistorius shot and killed his girlfriend, Riva Steenkamp.
The verdict was unanimous and unexpected. South Africa's Supreme Court calling Pistorius' original jail sentence inappropriate and raising it.
According to Oscar himself, he believed that she was an intruder, but many things in his story simply did not add up. He ended up serving 9 years of a 13-year sentence and has virtually disappeared from the public eye ever since.
For 5 years, he'll live under conditions and could be returned to prison if he breaches them.
Aaron Hernandez. The story of Aaron Hernandez's life was one that grew increasingly chaotic up to his very sudden death.
Superstardom on the field, overshadowed by violence, and the victims he left behind.
Once regarded as a star tight end in college and later the NFL, Hernandez was indicted for the double homicide of Daniel De Abreu and Safiro Furtado, although he was later acquitted. However, in 2013, he was arrested for the murder of his friend Odin Lloyd, who was dating Hernandez's fiance's sister.
Aaron Hernandez is found guilty of murdering Odin Lloyd.
You were sentenced by order of the court for the term of your natural life without the possibility of parole.
He would eventually be sentenced to life in prison on first-degree murder charges, but just a few days after being acquitted of the first double homicide, he took his own life at the age of 27.
It's important to note, while the conviction will stand now, the court record will say the conviction was never affirmed or reversed because the defendant died while the appeal was pending.
Lance Armstrong. No PED saga in the history of sports has managed to leave so many disappointed as the story of Lance Armstrong.
He went from survivor to victor in what was called at the time one of the most unbelievable comebacks in sports history.
Armstrong wins the Tour de France.
For 7 straight years, he dominated arguably the hardest sporting event in the world.
He was the face of cycling, won the Tour de France 7 consecutive times, a cancer survivor, and a consistent supporter and organizer of charitable endeavors. He was truly a model athlete, but after years of vehemently denying any form of steroid use when his house of cards collapsed, it was a truly epic spectacle.
We did what we had to do to win.
Armstrong eventually was caught out, later revealing that he had lied through his teeth to millions for his entire career. Cycling as a whole was shown to be ravaged by PED use, but Lance's attempts to shift blame onto the culture just made him look even worse. The true hero to zero story.
But I wouldn't change a thing. I've said that 3 times and I'll say it again. I would not change a thing.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. O.J. Simpson. The trial of O.J. Simpson was one of those cultural events that shook an entire nation to its core.
The scene was set
for what would eventually be called the trial of the century.
Simpson was once revered as one of the standout running backs in NFL history, but his stellar credentials and crossover success only made his eventual fall that much worse. Simpson was arrested after a dramatic police chase for the murder of his ex-wife Nicole Brown and her friend Ron Goldman.
The name O.J. Simpson eventually divided the country along racial lines as well. Many blacks proclaimed his innocence, while whites were far more skeptical.
The subsequent trial was truly one of the biggest media cycles of the decade. Ultimately, Simpson was controversially acquitted of the crime. His lawyer, Johnny Cochran, managed to pull off a legal miracle, but Simpson's reputation was forever ruined.
But in the end, at least publicly, O.J. Simpson felt content about his place in the world.
Which athlete do you think had the most shocking fall from grace? Let us know in the comments.
The confession got harder today for Ben Johnson. He couldn't contain the tears.